Since 1937, Disney has been entertaining audiences with their animated feature films. But since that time, they have also reflected and influenced how society views both men and women. With these cutouts, there is already a preconceived notion of the genders. This reflects a term called doing gender, an idea that in Western culture, gender is seen as a psychological, ingrained social contract. One of the first to discuss this term was West and Zimmerman. In their article, Doing Gender, it brought up the point that sex and gender were two very different things. Sex is something that is ascribed by biology, whereas gender is something that a person develops as they get older, or, as Zimmerman said, an achieved status that which is contracted through psychological, cultural, and social means. In doing so, doing gender is what both men and women do to fit either the masculine or feminine natures to be accepted within society's boundaries. So, how does Disney portray both males and females? For the males that are taken seriously in these films, they are generally seen with these characteristics: a toned body, good-looking, rich or appears to be rich, and charm. To be taken seriously is to portray a masculine body and mind. A good example of this would be Disney's version of Hercules. This clip is an example of hegemonic masculinity, and to paraphrase an article called The Organization of Masculinity by R.W. Connell, hegemonic masculinity is about domination. But before Hercules became the hero that everyone adored, he started off as an outcast. During this time, his appearance was very different. Hercules, at this time, was very similar to the role of a sidekick. He was the comic relief on screen, awkward, and never taken seriously. These characteristics described many of male sidekicks in Disney films. In this next clip of Beauty and the Beast, two things can be pointed out. For one, this gives off the appearance that men should only see women as objects of pleasure. In this scene, Gaston believes that Belle is simply a prize to be won. The second observation is that the sidekick, LeFou, is being completely ignored by everyone, and Gaston gives him no respect. However, Gaston is being sought after by every woman in town. This is because, unlike LeFou, Gaston is portraying hegemonic masculinity. For the females, Disney started out by portraying them in a hegemonic, feminine way. When someone is described as a hegemonic female, they are behaving in a manner that is expected of them from their male counterparts. Generally, female heroines will be innocent, naive, and trusting. With their film Frozen, Disney does make fun of how trusting their female characters have been in the past.
Because I'd only just met him, that day, and she said she wouldn't bless the marriage.
Wait, you got engaged to someone you just met that day?
Yeah, anyway, I got mad, and so she got mad, and then she tried to walk away, and I grabbed her glove.
Hang on! You mean to tell me you got engaged to someone you just met that day?
Yes, pay attention.
This is another example of Disney's characters doing gender. If they do not fit into roles such as being a caregiver, housekeeper, or a lover of animals, many times they are then masked as the villain. Disney villains are portrayed with either an extremely small body type that is almost skeletal in structure, or quite voluptuous. Their eyes are generally more narrow, and their hair is either very short or pulled back. Like the males, the female characters are also judged based on how they look, telling society that if you look a certain way, you then must also act that way. But over the years, Disney has broken a few stereotypes that are common with their female characters. One example of this is with the movie Brave. This is one of the first films where a male does not jump in and save the female. For the first time, they save themselves. Disney then made their next film, Frozen, follow the same pattern. As for the males, not much has changed. When they do have a role in a film, they are still portrayed by how they look. Overall, Disney still has a long way to go when it comes to breaking away from doing gender. And it seems as though only time will tell if they ever will.